For Pete's sake, man.
Hello everyone, welcome to a new edition of For Pete's Sake.
It's good to be back. I'm Gibby.
Yeah, a little overdue here, but we're ready to go here. Keep the season rolling.
Well, gentlemen, we'll be discussing the major sports topics this week, including the dreadful Detroit Lions, the Dion Waiters gummy story, debating if Christian Pulisic is the real deal, and as always, some in-depth baseball coverage. Experts on that. But first, Gibbs, we have a new segment for you guys this week, isn't that right?
Oh yeah? What's that?
The big sneaker segment here.
You gonna showcase some of your sneakers?
Yeah, well, something we've been talking about, I think, for the past couple of weeks. No, Trev, you said it about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we've been meaning to get more of the pop culture side of this show going. We've really been pretty sports focused, but we'd like to get back into that a little bit. And, Pete's a big sneaker guy over here. Let's see what he's got to show us.
Yeah, so I'm a big shoe collector, as Trev said. I thought this week, start out with, I was going to bring in one shoe, but then I thought, might as well start out big, start with a collection. So we're going to go with the Kyrie SpongeBob shoes. Have you guys heard about this a couple months ago?
Yeah, I saw that they came out with a couple like SpongeBob feature shoes where they would showcase like make red shoes, have them like Mr. Krabs. I think Squidward was one of them. SpongeBob.
We're gonna start out. I don't have all of them, but we got a couple for you guys. We got the Patrick Star shoe. I'll hold this up there, Gibbs.
Oh, those are dirty, man.
I believe this actually has made an appearance on this show before. I want to say it was in front of Gibby's computer, but we'll get a closer look at it as we're editing it. Hold it up there, Gibby.
There it is. Check it out.
Got the Patrick Star one. Got a little face inside.
Kind of like that. I mean, like, I can't say I'm a huge fan of like pink shoes, but the pink and green, like, you think it would be really like kind of wild and out there, but I think they flow together kind of well.
And you know who it is too.
Look at that. Check that out. You got
little guy inside.
Little guy inside there. That's pretty sweet.
Trev, for you, we got the Squidward shoe.
Ooh, yeah. So keeping along the same line here. Really like the color. It definitely reminds me of Squidward. Like how the back's got a little bit of orange to it.
Yep.
Now it's a little more pastel than that other one.
Which one do you like better?
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I like the pink, but I don't think I could personally rock it. This shoe is definitely more for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I like the Squidward one a little bit better, even though like subtle. Not a huge Squidward fan. I mean, who is?
It's true.
He's very, very relatable character, though.
Our next one, Trev, you mentioned it, I think, before. It might be you kids. We got the Mr. Krabs shoe.
Ooh.
This one, you got the plankton on the inside there. Let you hold it there, Gibbs, actually.
Yeah, I want to touch this one.
It's got the red. You got the money inside of the...
Mr. Krabs right inside there.
Yeah, Mr. Krabs right there.
Love the plankton touch on the side. But until I saw that, you know what that shoe reminded me of? And it's totally not even SpongeBob related, but... Sprite Cranberry.
Sprite Cranberry.
Yo, that's one that actually is kind of what it looks like.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty cool one. I think that was one of the more popular ones in there. And then a new one here. This one just came out.
Newest edition?
This was like the 6th edition to the collection. It was brand new. It's the pineapple shoe. It's about SpongeBob's house. This one's pretty wild, guys. Hold this one up there, Trev.
Yeah, most bizarre. Kind of looks like a basketball a little bit.
Yeah, you see the back. It's got the little door on it. Yeah, right
there.
It's
got the pineapple leaves, too.
Yeah, it's like SpongeBob's house, too. This little mesh thing is like his roof, which is the head of the pineapple. I gotta say, I like it. Not character on the inside. Gary the snail.
Yeah.
He lives in the house. Makes
Classic.
sense. Nike really putting out a good collection of these SpongeBob-themed shoes here.
I kind of like them. How much are those going for?
Why? When they came out, I think they're about $130. Well, between $120.
It's really not too bad, I thought something with Kyrie's name and something like special edition like this would be a lot more than that.
Well, they're super popular. You're gonna see them probably all over the place. My favorite actually might be the pink ones, just because they're so different from
Never seen anything like it before.
From anything that I'd wear. Kyrie's got some pretty cool shoe collections. I know one that's coming out now. You guys probably haven't heard about it, but it's a new shoe. And they're releasing in 11 different cities across the world. So I think some of them were like Houston, Los Angeles, New York, but also a couple in China. There's one in Tokyo, one in Berlin. And you could only get the shoes in those cities.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool.
I'm going to ask her, you're going to cop?
I was thinking about it, but since I don't live in one of those cities, kind of have to go on the...
That's a tough deal.
Not going to make the trip to Houston just to get these shoes.
Have to buy them online. But they're pretty cool. So we'll see if we get one for the pod. For the pod, might have to the cop one. But he's obviously pretty cool with his shoe collaboration, so that's a good one right there. So I thought that would be a good shoe collection.
I like it. I just got like one more question for you too. Just
what you got?
Are these like a special edition? Like, did you have to kind of go out of your way to find them, or did you just like cop them online?
So they came out originally on Nike and Foot Locker, and the site crashed immediately because
People
just so
love
many
them.
people
So
trying
much
to get
traffic.
them. They also come out in the stores at some of the Foot Lockers. Now we have one locally here, but usually you just go on other websites afterwards to cop them. Because what happens is people will buy them right away, but they'll buy a bunch not actually looking to wear them. They'll be looking to sell
Resell them.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, but he also, like I said, he has awesome shoe collections. He has a couple more that we'll probably get into in weeks later. But I thought that'd be a cool one to start us out with, or everyone recognizes SpongeBob. So.
Oh yeah, no, and I think really, if you look at it, the sort of sneakerhead generation really has started with people our age, and obviously, a lot of people around our age grew up with SpongeBob. So this is just kind of a perfect collaboration for those two worlds, I would say.
A lot of different characters you could do stuff with as well. So.
Yeah, no, and it's like I said, it's probably the most popular show you could have picked to do something like this with.
Yeah, pretty cool collection there. So thanks for letting me share that with you.
It's a great way to start the episode.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, let's take a downturn here as we transition to some of the sporting events. How about those Detroit Lions, Gibbs?
Man, that was the worst game I've ever. Here's the thing. I thought we were gonna go into that game. We were gonna have Matthew Stafford, but I wake up to a notification on my phone at like 9:30 in the morning that Stafford broke his back. Apparently,
it was fishy, man. Yeah, I didn't hear about it all week.
He was listed as questionable, and everyone had the idea that he was gonna play until the news came out on Sunday, and I didn't even know who our backup quarterback was. I'm going to be honest. Like Jeff Driscoll, I thought we were screwed.
I thought we still had Kellen Moore. I don't think a lot of people were aware that Jeff Driscoll was even in the NFL, let alone on our roster.
Nope. People probably didn't know who he was.
Yeah, Kellen Moore is the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys now. He didn't last long in the league, but at this point, I think we're done. I think our season's over.
Oh yeah, I think it might be time to tank, boys. Tank for Tua.
Driscoll looked all right. I'll give him that. And hey, I would love to see Tua, but there's no way that we're gonna out tank the Bengals.
I want to ask this question because a few weeks ago on the show, a lot of us, even if we said we were going to miss the playoffs, we thought this team was moving in the right direction going forward. Do we still think that?
No, and I think Patricia has to go, and that's mostly because we have one of the worst defenses in the league, and he's supposed to be like this defensive guru, and it just doesn't add up.
I think we've done a complete 180 from what I thought. Like, we have no chance. We're not playing for anything. Like you said, we might as well tank at this point. Our defense is one of the worst defenses in the league. The only reason why we were adequate at the beginning of the season is because we were forcing all these turnovers, and you can't rely on that to happen. And I think we got to – I mean, I don't – personally, I'm not a huge Patricia guy, but I think at this point you got to give him one more year, fire the defensive coordinator, fire Pascal, and just kind of try to reshape your defense.
For me, it's a little interesting. I've definitely lost faith with the current personnel in the front office as a whole. I think if we stick with Bob Quinn, there's no reason to fire Matt Patricia for this year. And like you said, give him another year. However, I do think we should fire Bob Quinn. A lot of his moves clearly have not paid off. It's a formula we've seen plenty of other teams try. Take the players that the Patriots maybe aren't willing to pay, give them the money that they think they deserve.
It just never works out.
Take as many people you can from their coaching staff, but it's the same problem all of those organizations have had. You're not going to be able to get Bill Belichick. You're not going to have Robert Kraft as your owner, and you're not going to get Tom Brady.
Exactly.
Paid all that money for Trey Flowers, who I think has like one, maybe two.
He hasn't done anything this year.
$18 million a year.
And
Mitch Trubisky just showed up our defense. Like, one of the guys who's been struggling the most this year, like out of any starting quarterback, he lit up our defense yesterday or on Sunday.
Yeah, and I mean, I know obviously trading someone like Quandre Diggs doesn't help, but this is a team that
he got a pick last night.
This is a team that they were slating at the beginning of the year that they were going to compete for the NFC North. And it's just clear that we're not close.
Nope.
We're not.
I think I saw the other day we have, 2 playoff wins ever, something like that?
We have one in the Super Bowl era. We beat Dallas in 91.
Our whole organization is just a complete mess. Like, there's so many problems. Yes, you can put the blame on Quinn. I don't think he's really done that much as a GM to begin with. You can put the blame on Patricia because he came here expecting our defense to get even better. Our defense has taken a step back. Our whole team has actually taken a step back from when Caldwell was here, where we were kind of that borderline playoff contender. And, Quinn said that 9-7 is not going to get the job done, and that's why he fired Caldwell.
We haven't even gotten close.
We're not even going to be, exactly. We're not even a threat for the playoffs. It's just a mess. And, I think Quinn and Patricia are both going to stay around for another year just because you got to give a guy 3 years, even though I don't want to see it. I just don't like Patricia. He just comes across as some arrogant guy giving arrogant answers to the media. And you can't do that unless you're able to win games.
Yeah, and let's not forget how his tenure in New England ended, too. A lot of that fan base were lamenting him for how bad their defense was, and he's their defensive coordinator. And all of a sudden...
They didn't want him there anymore.
No, and all of a sudden he's our guy. It just didn't make sense to me. But I will say this, regardless of if you think Patricia or Quinn should go, I think it's pretty evident, if it wasn't already, that with the Ford family owning this team, it's going to be the wrong people in these positions.
Too much time.
Yeah, never been good under them. Just never been good at all.
But the problem is, who's going to come in and buy that team off of them? And they're not going to, because it's not for sale. So someone's going to have to come in and wow them with an offer.
How much we got together? Can we pull a couple?
I can't buy the
$100
Lions,
here,
man.
Roger Penske, I know you just bought the Indy. You bought IndyCar, bought the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You're a Midwest guy. Take the Detroit Lions from the Ford family.
It's quite the investment.
I'm begging you, please.
Oh, no, you got to win one for Martha. She said she wants to win a Super Bowl before she passes away. And
yeah, that's not going to happen.
I got to say that if Mike Ilitch couldn't win a World Series with the Tigers before his death, there's no way in hell Martha Ford is getting a Super Bowl before she goes.
Well, hopefully our Lions wreath can bring him luck, right?
They're going to need more than that.
But yes, the Lions season's pretty much over. So I think for Detroit fans or just NFL
looking
fans,
forward to the draft once again.
Yep. So I think our NFL coverage is really just dying out there. Should we move on to a different sport, guys? This is getting me kind of down.
Yeah. What's next up on the agenda?
I think it's the NBA.
It sure is, and we're talking about the biggest story this week: Dion Waiters.
Was he eating gummies?
So the story was that before he was going on a team plane, he said he had a stomach ache. So apparently, this is according to the report, he was given a gummy by a teammate. A gummy with what's inside that, Gibbs?
I think there's some THC in there, banned substances.
Yeah,
things like that.
It's a gummy.
As Stephen A. Smith would put it, not quite correct, but the weed.
Exactly.
And maybe that's one way to get through watching the Lions game, I guess.
Oh, there you go. I'm gonna have to do that.
Is Dion Waiters a Lions fan?
He might be.
Yeah.
But then he got on the team plane, had a bad reaction apparently. How big was the gummy? Like, was it just a little gummy? Did he not feel it and then took a couple more? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, we kind of know what was going on, and apparently had like a panic or anxiety attack or something like that. And I mean, you hope it's not more.
They said, I'm not sure if he suffered a seizure or not. I know he had to go to the hospital. So that part's obviously not funny. We feel bad for him there. But just the story about taking the edible
on the plane, and the fact that it came out that it was like THC based, and like obviously like that's a banned substance from the NBA. Like, how is he gonna fail a drug test? Like,
well, and if it was reported that a teammate gave it to him, I'm kind of wondering who the teammate was.
Were they messing with him a little bit? Or?
It hasn't come out yet, so obviously he didn't snitch and say who it was.
Such a weird story.
It's a Dion Waiters story. I mean,
I gotta say, what is it with NBA players and like
drama?
Weed-related items in airplanes? Because I don't know if you remember a few years ago the whole D'Angelo Russell thing going through security with I want to say it was just
put it in like a water bottle or something.
Yeah, it was something that was like blatantly obvious and
it's got like you're in the NBA, man. Like you should have that stuff figured out. Like
that was a funny story, man. The airport security. It's I thought you were gonna bring up the was it the Swaggy P one with Nick Young.
Oh, I kind of vaguely remember that.
Iggy Azalea.
Where he called out
he recorded them,
cheating on her or something. Yeah.
NBA
is a weird league, man. There's just always like always storylines.
Well, the thing is too, it's compared to the other sports, it's a much smaller roster. Mm-hmm. So if something like that happens, you can't really keep it contained within the locker room because the locker room's only like 10 guys.
Well, it's much more player driven too. Like
Yeah.
you said, it's fewer players, but I mean, people root for LeBron or Curry or whatever, but they're not like Lakers fans or Golden State
That's
fans.
true.
They're for the players.
Well, aren't they the same thing? Like,
That's true. I was just thinking, like Dion Waiters, Swaggy P would be another one that you would think. Well, Nick Young is Swaggy P.
The all Gump list.
Yeah,
Gotta throw J.R. Smith in there, right?
J.R. Smith. That's the one I was
I
forgetting.
remember when he like took his shirt off after the Cavs won the championship, and
Yeah.
like literally Barack Obama was like,
Put
"Yo,
the shirt on."
JR, put your shirt back on."
Remember he threw the bowl of soup at an assistant coach?
oh yeah.
He's still a free agent, right? He's not on the team right now.
Oh, he'll be on the Bronze team at the end of the
I'm
year.
sure he'll get. He's got to get signed somewhere. The dude can still shoot.
Who
And
gets signed first, him or Carmelo?
oh man, I
Who'd
want
you
to. I
want?
want to see Melo back in the league. Come
Gibby,
on.
I kind of want to use this as a transition into your segment here, but better fit for the Phoenix Suns: J.R. Smith, Carmelo Anthony.
Yo, the Suns honestly don't need either because
They're good.
They got Ricky Rubio, they got Frank Kaminsky.
Devin Booker.
They don't have DeAndre Ayton anymore.
There's a reason Ricky Rubio was drafted ahead of Steph Curry. Who's going to have better numbers this season?
That's true. Steph with that broken hand. That's your team.
I mean,
Gibbs.
like
You said
I
it before
think-
the year.
No, I don't want to say I called it, but I kind of did. Like I think Devin Booker. I'm not saying this team is good, but I think they can threaten for the playoffs. And Devin Booker finally has some pieces around him that are adequate. Like Rubio can get Booker the ball. Like Booker doesn't have to be that true point guard anymore. He kind of be more of a shooting guard. And Baines has been a big piece for them too.
He broke Curry's hand.
Yeah, there you go.
You know who the architect of all this is?
James Jones.
James Jones, the man who
It's come
carried
full circle, man.
LeBron to 6 straight finals. Phoenix's GM.
They thought it was all LeBron, man.
He was really hindered by their front, sort of their management team those first couple of years, didn't give him full trust. Big mistake. I mean, they would be the clear title contenders had they given James Jones full reign 2 years ago. But like you said, they are building to something, and they're one of the most exciting teams to watch in the West currently.
Yeah, they got a big game tonight against the Lakers. See if they can give LeBron a loss for a really hot Lakers team right now.
Yeah, I think they're top team in the league. I think in terms of record-wise. Should we turn our attention to the local team, those Detroit Pistons? I saw they got Blake Griffin, Derrick Rose back last night.
Psych, because they're both out tonight.
Yeah, they are. Load management. We'll get into that in a second. But the Pistons are now 4-7 to start the year. Drummond's been having a great year so far.
It's our only option.
Exactly. He's been putting up 20-20 games all over the
Christian
place.
Wood?
I didn't know who that was.
Neither did I before the season started.
And I
but
always watch basketball, and I did not know who that
I
was.
think he's hurt right now, too, though.
Of course he is.
Yeah, Reggie, too.
Yeah, I know we've had a bunch of guards on 10-day contracts here in the last few weeks, just trying to fill in the
It's
injury
never good
gaps.
when Brown is in the starting lineup.
Oh, Bruce Brown, man. He had a good game the other day, though. He had 24 points. Every time he goes to the rim, though, I'm like, man, you're going to
He's
get
just
blocked.
such a liability. I mean, he can stand his own on defense, but offense, he's just not that much of a threat.
He's not, but hopefully, with like I said, with Blake Griffin back, Derrick Rose, want to see how that combination works. I mean, 6 years ago, we'd be the best team in the league with those two
Yeah,
guys.
that's true.
No,
nuance
like
there.
I said, we were the favorites for the 2011 NBA Finals.
I mean, if we sign Carmelo, whew,
Oh, man.
Even better.
Is Amari Stoudemire still, is he retired yet? Or
He's definitely retired.
that's a good question. Where is Amari Stoudemire? I haven't thought about that
I haven't
in
heard that.
years.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I think best case, this team is probably like a sixth seed in the playoffs, maybe 5.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I think more realistically, just with how old this team is and how many guys just already, 2 weeks into the season, we're dealing with injuries. And, it's a big concern for this team. And, I think at this point, I'd be happy with a playoff appearance. I don't see them having a ceiling more than that.
Here's a question I have for you guys. Say it comes to be because the trade deadline in the NBA is in February, right? If I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. Say it comes to the beginning of February and the Pistons have significantly underachieved and they're totally out of it. Do you think we should trade Andre Drummond or at least try to at the deadline?
I think regardless.
Yeah, I think this is Drummond's last year in the deal, if I'm not mistaken, or he's towards the end of his deal.
Yeah, and I think there's a pretty
he's-
low chance he'll resign regardless of what happens.
He will be a free agent this year, and the problem with that is there's no other free agents on the market.
Yeah.
This is
I think you'd have to look into a contending team that would want a big man. I think the owner will hold on to somebody like Blake Griffin or Derrick Rose because they got to put people in the seats. I mean,
Gores loves Drummond too.
we've been watching, this team, this new arena for how many years has it been? 3 years now.
Yeah.
And I know at the beginning, I think they still might be having trouble putting people in the seats. You
Well,
got to have players that people will come and see. So I'm sure the owner will have that on his mind.
Yeah, and I mean, for them too, because they're trying to pay off the arena, the Red Wings, as we pointed out, aren't close to contending, so it's really got to be the Pistons that carry
Derrick
the
Rose.
load
I
there.
mean, I'm saying like from a taking standpoint, you could definitely flip Rose, get him for something like halfway decent. I would imagine trade Drummond, trade Galloway, get yourself some picks, and then you're gonna be terrible next year. So kind of like a 2-year tank there, and then the free agents that year, like 2 years out now.
They're coming to Detroit.
I hope so.
We're getting
But
Kawhi.
you know we're gonna give Drummond the max this offseason.
Yeah, we probably will. Like I said, the owner's going to want
Just
big
stuck
name
in
players.
purgatory forever.
Yeah, as long as they're putting people in the seats, I'm sure that's what he's looking for. I'm sure he wants to win too, but he wants to have people go to the stadium. Like I said, it's brand new. You got to help pay that off.
If Drummond were to leave, where do you think he would go?
Man,
Out of here. I mean, I think Drummond will get the max just because there's no other free agents this year.
that's
And-
true. I think teams are also going to be preparing for that 2-year window of free agents. I'm trying to think of a team that's pretty good that would need a center.
I've got
Who
a
can
team
get scoring from
as
elsewhere.
kind of a wild card here, especially since I think they're going to lose D'Angelo Russell next year, but Golden State.
Oh, man.
I mean, like, do they have enough cap space to pull that off, though?
Yeah.
Maybe, but would they be able to?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, he'd be a nice fit there, where you can
Depends
crash
if-
the boards with.
Depends on if they're going to value him for that team. They want to give him money. I don't know how the financials work. I know they have a lot of money tied up.
Well, not only that, but they might be able to convince him to try and take a pay cut to go there.
Yeah, win for once.
They
Yeah.
could flip Russell for Drummond too. I'm sure they'd offer that to the Pistons. Another team I'd say would be kind of under the radar might be the Celtics, because I don't think they really have a dominant big man. I mean, they lost Aaron Baines, like you said, he's having a great year.
No Al Horford.
Yeah, no Al Horford, so I could see them as a team that might be interested in him as well.
Also, they got. I know Gordon Hayward's still there, but he hasn't proven himself to be a reliable
just an
player
injury.
injury-wise.
Broke his hand.
Liability now.
Broken hands, man. Hayward, Curry.
Yeah, no, injuries are huge in the NBA.
Well, I think that concludes our basketball coverage. Trev, should we turn our attention to your favorite sport there?
Well,
One of them.
It's a new favorite sport every week, but we got. This is a story that broke early this morning. Actually, the
Kind of a strange one.
the Houston Astros. Now, we've been a little kinder to them, I'd say, than most other cities, purely because of the Justin Verlander connection. A lot of people from Detroit really wanted to see them win. But I think the last few years have proven them to be the biggest cheaters in all of baseball by quite a margin. Obviously, go back to, I think, last year, where they got caught in a data breach, stealing information about the minor league players from the St. Louis Cardinals, which I forget what the punishment was for that, but MLB was not very happy. It wasn't a good look. But this is arguably worse. Came out that the Astros have been stealing signs electronically. Basically, what they've been doing is they've put a camera in center field, pointed directly at the opposing catcher, and they could see what sign the catcher's putting on. They would also have a TV just outside the dugout in the hallway back to the locker room. They'd have someone in there, and if they saw it was going to be like an off-speed pitch or something, they would have someone bang on the trash can to alert the batter that, hey, an off-speed pitch is coming. And it was almost instant every time.
No, is that like actually confirmed?
This has been multiple players on that 2017 team that won the World Series that are no longer there have come out. 3 of them are anonymous, but it's funny how this connects back to Detroit. The one player who has been named was Mike Fiers. And for those who don't remember, because let's be honest, the Tigers have been a totally forgettable team the last really 3-4 years now. But Mike Fiers was one of those signings we made in 2018 to sort of
Literally
just flip
just a
at the
body.
deadline. You had to try and get some prospects back. But he was on that World Series winning Astros team. And apparently one of the first things he said to a lot of our young players when they got there is like, hey, this stuff goes on. So, like, especially the pitchers, like, when we're playing the Astros, like, change your signs.
So that's
constantly.
why the Tigers are so bad?
Yeah, the Astros were cheating against us. We beat them this year, though. What are your thoughts, kind of, Trev, on because there's been, sign stealing, I feel like, has gone on forever in terms of just, like, from the dugout, just not using electronics. But this is different because they're actually using a camera. It feels like it's taken a different step.
Yeah, and I have no problem if you figure out like tells from another team. Like there's obviously, I think there was a diagram with, I want to say Kershaw, where depending on where his starting position was with his mitt, you could tell what pitch he was going to throw, and it was totally like subconscious on his part. Like, and if you figure that stuff out, fair enough.
I
But
agree.
this is sign stealing in baseball is not technically illegal, but doing it electronically is, and this is a very clear line that's been crossed because, I mean, let's be honest, they got caught and they used it to win a World Series. Also, they've had a lot of pine tar on pitchers' mitts.
There's always been like speculation around the Astros. I feel like people always saying that they're stealing signs, and
Yeah.
I think that's been going on for like 3 or 4 years. So
And
it's not too much of a surprise that something actually came out that was factual.
And I'm not even surprised. Like it's definitely, it might not even be just them. Like I'm pretty sure every team in baseball or maybe even every sport cheats to some extent. Like it's the old expression, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. But they're just going above and beyond in that realm, and I think there's been a clear
Crossed the line
line
a little
crossed.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stole that World Series from the Dodgers.
Well,
oh, there you go.
that's actually been a lot of the discussion because if you go back to that,
Vacate it.
if you go back to that series, Game 7, Yu Darvish, who was the pitcher for the Dodgers, got absolutely rocked in the first 2 innings.
Could have been from that.
Yep, Aroldis Chapman too had a similar problem where it looked like they were just jumping on fastballs in the ALCS. So
Well, I'm just imagining a story like this in like the NFL that so many people watch, and I feel like this
Like
is
Spygate?
this is a huge. Well, yeah, I feel like this is a huge story in baseball. But I'm just imagining it had as many like views. Like, I feel like it's not getting enough coverage.
even if this was baseball
It's pretty
20
big
years
news,
ago,
yeah.
this would have gotten more coverage. But
It is a very big story. I mean, it's blatantly you're cheating. You're using technology.
And
Cheat.
it's a world champion too. Like someone won it all.
Yeah,
Cheating,
and
essentially.
theoretically, if they, say Game 7 of this World Series goes differently, that's the team that just won the World Series
Yep.
having this come out. So
Like one of the hottest teams in recent history.
yeah, and you can think, well, why were they so hot? Stealing. Well, Trev, thank you for that story there. And there was something else you want to talk about you wrote on here, the little fun here in terms of Detroit sports. Obviously, we're Detroit based, so you want to get into that?
the grading of each GM.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Oh God.
So
Let's have a little fun here.
Fun. Everyone gets an F.
So the one I want to start with though is Ed Stefanski. I'm not going to give him too much crap because he is just an interim.
Who is he the GM for?
Pistons.
Pistons.
I don't think his official title is GM. It's like
He's
president
team
of
president and
operations.
GM. We don't really have a GM,
We're
so
literally looking for a GM still.
Yeah, so I'm-
apparently.
I mean, as an interim, I don't know how long he's been in the position, but like it's got to be like a C. I mean, obviously we're not making moves that are going to solidify us as a contender for years to come.
Yeah.
But
I give him credit for going out and getting some big players.
Got
big
Rose,
name
got
players.
Snow.
Did he get Griffin? Was this before?
no, Griffin I think was a Van Gundy move.
Yeah,
but,
last
Yeah.
last
Stan
move
the
from
man.
Van Gundy. Yeah, that's debatable.
but I will give him credit. He is obviously the directive from the Pistons has been get people in the seats over
Yeah.
winning, and I think he's obviously they're still having some problems, but their attendance has been better than it was in the first couple of years of that stadium, so I can't give him too much there.
I'm gonna go C plus.
C plus, yeah, I would say like C.
Yeah, he's putting bodies out there. Like, yeah, he kind of found Christian Wood. He obviously
Who's
brought... Yeah, exactly. I mean, he brought Derrick Rose here, but he's the only NBA GM who was going to give him a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
Who knows how that's going to turn out, because Rose he's only played half this year so far. We'll see what he does with the Drummond situation. I'll give him a C- right now.
Ooh,
I
so
think
an
that's
average of
fair.
a C.
Yeah.
Bob Quinn, I think, will be next,
Oh.
just because we don't really need to explain it. We've already kind of discussed
Yeah.
him in this episode, but just you guys want to give a grade on him?
F.
I mean, he did find Galladay in the draft.
F.
And he's better than like what we had before. Like Martin Mayhew. Those
E.
guys were terrible.
That's
but
not a high standard.
that's what I'm saying. Like, what are we comparing him to?
Just say the grade.
I'll give him a D+.
D plus. All right, what do you got, Trev?
D minus. He hasn't been horrible, but T.J. Hawkinson will be one of his biggest mistakes.
Quinn's got one more year. He's
I'm
got
just-
this year and next year.
I'm just so fed up with the team and just the direction. they've been going.
Another GM that I think most of us would probably say is in the same vein, Al Avila. I mean, to be fair to
Tigers.
Incomplete.
I will be fair to him. He inherited an aging team that definitely needed to be torn down before it was, but Mike Ilitch kept pushing for that World Series even when it was past our window. I don't necessarily blame the long demise on him. However, I believe he was, or was that, did Dombrowski give Cabrera
It was Dombrowski.
huge
Yeah.
contract? Yeah, so that's unmovable. I don't blame that on him.
I mean, he's stuck with it now, though. You
yeah.
can't. We have no cap space. Like,
The one issue I do have with him, though, is this is very clearly a rebuild, and a lot of Tigers fans haven't seen sort of enough moves. Like, I know our roster is threadbare as it is, but
the thing is, like, the trades that he's made, we haven't gotten that much in return.
yeah, the free agents we've signed haven't hit, and we do have some good pitchers in the minor leagues. That's sort of our forte at the moment, but in terms of hitters, there's nobody, really. I
Zero.
mean, Riley Green, sure, but he's a few
Yeah.
years away. They do like Isaac Paradis, who should be in the big leagues next year as sort of a shortstop prospect, but he's not like a top line guy.
What do you got?
I mean,
I'm going to go C.
See,
And I say C just because I like some of the prospects, but I haven't seen enough. I'm
it's,
going more
it's
on
hard.
potential.
It's hard to mess up like the first pick in the MLB draft.
That's true.
And none of these guys have actually like seen the field,
That's true. I'm going
especially
D.
on an MLB level. I don't think he's gotten a return. Like, we moved Castellanos. What did we get for him?
I'm going E.
You don't even know.
yeah.
I mean, granted, we could see these guys down the line, but I gotta I'll give him a D minus.
Yeah, I'm going D minus as well. The best prospect I could say we've gotten back from any of those trades has been Franklin Perez, who we got in the Verlander trade, but he's had a load of injury problems, so yeah, it's really not looking too good there.
So F's all around.
I said D minus for me, but yeah. Last one here, kind of a newer one. Again, hard to grade because he's been in the job for, I think, a little over a year now.
He's got his eyes on the team.
Yeah, Stevie. Trust in Stevie. Now, I'll give him credit. The Red Wings, another team with a bunch of bad contracts, and a lot of them were unmovable, so he's just kind of waiting for him to go out, specifically Mike Green, who's in his last year of his deal right now. But I'll give him credit. He's been making a lot of moves here, trying to get the right pieces. Robbie Fabry, who they got from, I believe, Dallas like 2 weeks ago. You know, he's looked good in his time here so far. He's scored the winning goal in his first game. But, again, it's really too early to tell, but the signs are promising with him.
Well, Gibby and I, we're experts on hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, honestly, being an expert, I don't even know that much about the Red Wings. And
Well, basically,
Stevie I, he just hasn't been there enough for me personally to like give him a grade. So
But you
I
have to.
let me give you an
just
analogy.
gotta say, like, incomplete. Like, he's
I'm going to go with a B.
B.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you an
Is that
analogy
Pete?
here for you guys to relate to the Red Wings. They're basically the Lions, but in hockey. The offense is good, has potential, but is inconsistent, and there's no defense.
We dropped down to a D for the grade.
Well, Detroit sports are terrible right now.
I'm
They
gonna,
are.
That was rough to do.
I'm
We
gonna
go
give,
back like 10 years to the heyday.
The heyday.
I'm gonna give Yzerman a B plus.
Lions were still terrible.
Lions have always been bad, but like the Pistons, Tigers
Red
were
Wings,
good.
Tigers.
Red
Red-
Wings.
Yep, Red Wings were at the end of their window. Pistons again, kind of at the end of their window.
Remember
Tigers coming
April in
into
the D. There's nothing better.
Yeah, there sure wasn't.
now. There's nothing worse.
There's nothing on.
Like great, get to see another 55 win Tiger team on opening day.
Pistons get swept 4 games in the
Assuming they're
playoffs.
even in the playoffs, get to see the Red Wings mathematically
Do you
eliminated.
think they still come out with like a new song every year? Is like April in the D still a thing?
They should really shift to Detroit City because at least they compete for titles, even if it's like
Detroit
the fourth
FC.
tier of soccer.
Didn't they win a
industry.
title this year?
They did. They won the.
Who's their GM?
They won the NPSL Cup or something, whatever competition they're in. So.
Bringing a championship to
Shout
Detroit.
out Detroit City. You know, you're not shit.
Well, that's soccer?
So, yeah,
Should we close out in soccer?
I think so. That's a good transition.
Well, Trev, we're not going to talk about the big Premier League game of Man City. I'm sorry, buddy.
You know, I really we are going to talk about it just very briefly. As a
Yes,
Man,
you are.
It's up to you.
as a Man City fan, with all the injuries we've had, especially at the back, I really didn't expect anything from that game. Especially once I saw Bravo in goal. They looked good, but Liverpool were just too good on the counterattack.
Damn, Liverpool's counterattack, man.
Yeah.
What the heck?
I will say this though, the first goal, there was a questionable handball
I
that
saw that.
like it shouldn't have been given as a penalty, but it should have been a free kick to Liverpool. Play should have stopped, and they shouldn't have been able to break on that.
That strike was crazy, though.
No, the great goal from Fabinho, and the third goal, Bravo. I don't know what he was doing. He was just way out of position. But
The two best teams potentially in Europe, though, I thought, Trev.
yeah, I know Man City are fourth right now, but a lot of that is due
They're
to
better than
injury.
fourth.
Yeah, and they'll be fine. But another team currently in that top four has, I believe, everyone here's favorite, Mr. Captain America here, Gibby's favorite player. Of course, talking about Chelsea winger Christian Pulisic.
The American.
I love Pulisic.
It's your favorite player. What are your thoughts on him? He's got, 5 goals last
He's
3
no
games?
way Rooney.
Yeah, he started pretty slow. Obviously, there's some criticism from Chelsea fans on why he wasn't playing every week, but he's been a real impact sub off the bench, and he's starting to get some starts now too. He's looking good. I think he's at the right club for this. Chelsea with the transfer ban, he's getting his opportunities. I think Lampard probably rates him more than Hudson-Odoi, which is like a young English prospect that's probably seen as around equal to him in ability.
I'd almost say he's like the future of soccer.
Yeah, is he?
Well, yeah, all those English people are football, but he's soccer. Christian Pulisic is Mr.
Yeah,
Soccer.
He is. He's our
There
only
it
good
is.
American player. Chelsea's been pretty good lately, too.
Yeah, they're a definite top 4 team, along with Leicester probably. But the one issue I do have with Pulisic is it's not even with him. It's just the position he plays for our national team. He's a winger, which, attacking players
Outside.
very rarely captains. And, we've had some problems with our attack too, but our defense, I'd say, has been even worse. And we just don't have some player that can step up and get people in position. I know we really don't have any promising center backs currently. Like John Brooks is probably our best, and he's
Soccer in
Not
America, man.
Yeah.
Michael Watungu.
he scored.
Oh, is he on our national team?
He's Michigan State national team. I think he's
Close
still
enough.
there. He's probably a senior this year. But,
Saw him at Chick-fil-A a couple weeks ago.
Hey, great restaurant.
It really is. Have you had a chicken sandwich before?
I sure have.
You had the Popeyes chicken sandwich.
No, apparently no one has in a while.
I thought they brought him back.
They did. They brought him back for a day. I don't know if any of us went down to Southfield, which is the closest one to here to
Yeah,
go
no,
try
what the
and-
heck?
So,
Yeah.
I mean, like Chick-fil-A's aren't close either.
there was one up at State.
Isn't there one in the Oakland cafeteria?
There's one at Somerset Mall.
I work right there.
Troy.
Go out there for lunch sometimes.
Yep.
Can order online.
Classic move.
Great store. Or great restaurant.
Yeah.
Excellent coverage there, Trev and Gibby. Favorite sport of soccer.
Thanks, Pete.
I think that's all we got for you guys this week.
I like
will-
your shoes.
I'm going to make one bold prediction here at the end of the video, and I know you guys aren't going to have any input into this. It's the NASCAR Championship 4 this
You
weekend.
say that like I don't know.
Winner take all. 3 Gibbs Toyotas, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, and then Kevin Harvick's Ford. It's a winner take all for the title.
Does it get better?
For me, the people that have already won have struggled in this race when they've gotten back to it. Denny Hamlin's the only current non-champion. That changes Sunday. Denny Hamlin takes his
Let's
first
go.
championship.
You know what he's getting
Heard
for,
it here first.
I don't even like him, but he's going to win.
You know what he's celebrating with? The Denny's Grand Slam.
Hey, what is the Denny's Grand Slam?
It's like breakfast, like eggs, pancakes.
Yeah, it's like they're basically their breakfast sort of combo, the all-encompassing.
Sounds
They have,
pretty good.
they have the Grand Slamwich, too, where
You can't go wrong with
Where-
breakfast food.
where they get-
there's
basically
really no
it's-
wrong answer.
it's the Grand Slam, but in a sandwich. It's kind of disgusting, but, I appreciate that it's on the menu,
It's an excellent way to end the show.
of course.
Well, that's all we got for you guys this week. Thanks
Yeah.
for tuning in.
No, been good to have you here. See ya.